Welcome back. My name's Ty. This is What Do You Mean? That was weird.
That was weird because you didn't give me a spot to chime in.
I didn't because
This is Ty's podcast now.
Said me, and then I realized I didn't say What Do You Mean? So anyways.
So it's What Do You Mean and Ty and also Monica.
Yes.
Hello. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody.
I feel like this episode is like long overdue for just like who we are as a podcast.
It is.
Because we've been doing this for like, what, 6 months now almost?
Yeah.
And we have yet to do a proper What Do You Mean episode.
Mm-hmm.
And what we mean by that is an episode of talking about topics that make us go, what do you mean?
Yeah, I feel like for us, and I think we talked about this in like our first episode, but we say like, what do you mean all the time?
Yeah.
To each other, because we get talking about something that we think is absurd or doesn't make sense to us, and then we exclaim, what do you mean? As an expletive, a
frustration,
like exclamation point,
a confusion.
Yeah. And I realize now we don't really say it on the podcast ever.
Yeah.
Not really, because we're like
phonies.
Yeah, we're fake.
We're a sham.
Fake news over here. I think we've had like the occasional episode where we use what do you mean here and there, but we don't talk about it much, and we've thought about doing this episode for a long time, but we kind of had to like build up good topics for it. So
but the thing is, like, it's not like we had to really sit down and think about it. It's that like usually the things that make us go, what do you mean, are so in the moment that you can't really think of them when you try to come up with them. And so we had a few moments over the past couple of weeks where like mid conversation, we'd be like, write this down. We have to talk about it on the podcast. And
then we'd like suspend the conversation right there.
Yeah. We'd say like, we're not finishing.
We're going to talk about it later.
Yeah. So that's what this episode is.
Yeah. Before we get into it, do you have any like life updates, fun things?
Yeah. Well, our anniversary was yesterday.
Yes, it was.
We're recording this on a Monday, and it was a pretty good day. It was very simple. Yeah. We didn't do much, but I was telling my coworkers today, like, and I told you this already, but it kind of felt like Christmas. Like,
yeah, true.
But not in the like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to open presents way. It was like in the, wait, the build up to Christmas was so fun, and now I'm a little sad because it's Christmas and it's going to be over kind of way. And so like all day I was like a little bit like, I'm kind of sad because you only have like your first anniversary once.
Yeah.
And it was weird because like we'll never get to say like we haven't had an anniversary again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we've reached the
even
milestone.
Like I thought about this last night, and I wish I would have thought about it 2 days ago, is that we'll never have another day of the year that we weren't married on.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, there's never been a January 1st that we haven't been married on. There's never been a February 17th.
Like the last one was March 18th.
Yeah.
And like something about that feels nostalgic and like a little sad. And I wish I would have been aware of it before the 19th.
Yeah.
Like it was our last first.
Stop.
Not genuine. Like,
right. It was our last.
We can do other firsts.
Yeah.
But that was our last first day of being married.
Yeah.
You know, which is like weird and a little emo.
No, that's interesting.
And the fact that it took me a year to come to that revelation of like over the last year, very rarely did I think, oh, today is the first September 1st I've had as a married man.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think that. I thought it last March 20th.
Well, you know what else?
Or like at Christmas, or like our birthdays.
You know what?
Huh.
Today is the most days, you know what I'm trying to say? This date is the most of any date that we've been married. March 20th.
Yes, that is true. We've been married on more March 20th than any other day.
And we won't be able to say that ever again. Well, we'll only be able to say it on March 20th.
We'll be able to say it once a year.
That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
That's
well, technically, probably the 19th would be when we start that.
No, because we weren't married at midnight. So this is like the first full day.
Yeah, okay. I can get behind that.
Me too.
Nice.
Okay.
Anyways, us like spiraling out of control as we're like sad,
Trying
but
to find
also
something
like
to cling to.
really happy that we've been married for now the beginning of our second year.
What the heck?
It's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's wild.
We also realized we've been married longer than we were dating or engaged individually.
Yeah, because we've said this so many times. We were dating for 7 months, engaged for 7.5, 8 months, and now we've been married for a year. So like, so crazy. We've been married
for the majority of our relationship at this point. Well, that's not true, because we'd have to pass 32 months for us
we are
to be.
being so technical right now.
This is so technical, and I'm for it.
No, but yes, if you look at our relationship in like a pie,
yes,
we've been
nice. The pie chart of our relationship
for most of it.
Yeah,
crazy.
Very wild.
Another
Anyways,
update.
Yes.
We've been in our Hunger Games era.
True. We
like
have.
Everybody else on the internet, I think.
Yeah.
Dawson responded to my story today and said like, I love the Hunger Games renaissance that's happening right now.
Shouts out, like, Dawson. Same. Love that.
Yeah. But seriously, like everybody's watching it right now for good reason.
Honestly,
those movies bang.
I'm impressed.
You are?
Yeah, because I hadn't really seen them. I saw the first one. I saw a lot of the second one. I remembered a lot of it last night, but I don't think I ever sat down and watched it all the way through. Mm-hmm. And
I think there's 2 movies left now. So we have Mockingjay 1 and 2.
And I don't think I've seen anything from either of them.
Okay, so you don't know.
I remember bits and pieces of, I think, Mockingjay.
Okay.
From like the very beginning.
Do you remember like any of the storyline?
No. Well,
okay. Do you know what happened to PETA?
Doesn't he get like a little brainwashed?
I think so. I kind of don't remember much of it either.
I remember him like jumping up and like trying to fight Katniss or something.
Yes, that happens because he doesn't like.
And he like comes up against like a glass thing.
But I don't remember if they brainwash him or if something. I think they do.
Yeah, I don't remember where.
We're just gonna have to watch and find out. I'm so excited.
I remember the beginning of, I think, Mockingjay where they're in District 13. Mm-hmm. And I remember Katniss.
Wait, are we giving away spoilers?
It's been out for nearly 10 years.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it at this point, that's between you and God.
Mockingjay has been out for 10 years. It came out in 2013.
That's insane.
So, and then, sorry, not Mockingjay, Catching Fire came out in 13. Anyways, and then I do remember her singing. I think that's in part 2, maybe.
I don't know. Okay, let's stop talking about it.
There's like a banger song that came out of those movies.
Oh, the Taylor Swift song?
No, that's from the first one. That's
Safe
what
and Sound?
Yeah, that's what the Civil Wars.
I remember tears.
That's from the first movie.
Your face when I said I never let you go. That one?
That's the one.
That's a good song.
But that is not the song I was thinking of.
Just close.
I'm thinking of the one that
eyes.
Jennifer Lawrence sings.
The sun is going.
Honestly, sound like her. That's my favorite Taylor Swift song.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Top favorite by far. Mostly because I love the Civil Wars.
I don't think she's singing that one on the Eras tour, so you're not in luck.
She should be.
I wonder.
That's a banger
I bet
right
she's
there.
Not. Did we talk about how many songs she's singing?
Yeah, you said like 44?
She's been performing for 3 hours.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's the Eras tour. She's going through like literally all of her albums.
Her whole discography?
She's singing about.
Obviously not. She's not singing Safe and Sound.
I was watching Emily Kaiser's TikTok and she went to night 2 in Glendale, which is like the first city that she started in. And she said she sang at least 3 or 4 songs from every album, sometimes up to like 7 or 8.
Good Lord.
And she has tons of albums, so
she does.
She's really giving the people what they want. Like they're getting their money's worth for that.
I saw it's like the highest attended female concert in the US of all time.
And you know, like those,
which is awesome. Like that's dope.
Yeah, those tickets are so expensive.
They're so expensive.
But like she's selling out.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, if they're that expensive and she's playing for 3 hours straight,
as they should be,
worth it.
Yeah.
Like that's sick.
That she is,
because I feel like a lot of artists will charge, $200, $300, $400 for a ticket and then play for like an hour,
45 minutes,
and like dip, and you're like, seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't pay to see like the opener and get to my seats.
Right.
So
yeah. So
wow. Good for her.
I know. Okay.
I like Taylor Swift a lot as a person. I'll say that.
Yeah, too.
I don't know her music well enough. I probably should, but
I like her music. I talk about this a lot, but I don't really consider myself like a fan of people.
Yeah,
So, like
that's
music
true.
people anyway. Like I'm fans of other people. But like
True.
people will be like, "Oh, are you a fan of like today my coworker was like, "Oh, do you like Mac Miller?" And I was like, "Sure." Like, yeah, I do, but I wouldn't be like, "Here's my top 5 favorite songs." And like that's how I feel about Taylor Swift. Like I really like her stuff. I wouldn't wait in a line to meet her. I wouldn't pay a lot of money to go see her in concert. I would pay maybe up to $200 if the seats were really good.
Yeah, true.
But $200 would get you in the nosebleeds and I wouldn't pay for that.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
yeah, that's my take that nobody asked for. It's like, let me tell you what I think.
Yeah. Hey, that works out. You have one other life update that I think you should share.
Don't tell me. Oh, Newly?
Mm-hmm.
I got my first Newly package. And if you're not familiar with that, it is a clothing rental service where you pay $88 a month and you get 6 pieces. And
Every month.
yeah, from like name brand places. Like my cart subtotal would have been like $600 or more dollars.
Yeah.
Because I picked things that were like close to $100 each. And it was nice because like a lot of the things on Newly were things that like I had seen before that I wanted to try.
But you probably wouldn't wear them more than once or twice.
Right. And so
you notoriously buy clothes, wear them once or twice anyways, and then are like,
yeah, and then I
it's
don't
sat in
have
my closet
anything
for
to
a year.
like to wear them to. And this worked out really well because we are currently in a phase of life where I am not allowed to spend as much on clothes as I usually do because
we're not making as much.
We do only be having 1.5 incomes right now.
Yes.
And by 1.5, I mean about 1.25.
Yeah. Well, we're working up to 1.5.
We're working our way up to 1.5. Hopefully we'll surpass that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
yeah.
I feel like for the price, it's amazing.
And for how you buy clothes anyways, like how you utilize clothes.
Right. Like
I
with
feel
my
it's
habits
great
of
for
wearing
you.
clothes 1 or 2 times, it's perfect because I can wear these clothes for a month, return them, get new clothes that I return in a month. Like it's,
and
you can
don't
plan
like
it around.
them, like you're going to have to send it back anyways.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal.
And I can like plan it around like things that we have coming up, which is fun. So far I'm liking it. I'm wearing a sweater right now that was from my box.
And it's very cute.
Thanks.
And if you want to sign up, she'll leave an affiliate code.
I don't have an affiliate code.
Oh, what is it called?
I have a referral link. I think it'll get you $10 off. And full disclosure, it will also get me $10 off. So we can help each other out.
Honestly though, I bet people will sign up.
Itchy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I bet people will sign up.
I'm confused because Taylor, my coworker, already signed up with my referral link and I don't see any rewards.
Maybe it goes on the next one.
I don't know.
I doubt that they're going to bill you back, but it probably goes on the
I don't
next.
see like there's like a rewards center that you can go look at and I don't see anything in there. So I might like ask. I might like chat them and be like, yo. Anyway.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's get into these.
Okay. The Kardashians.
Oh, you're starting with that one?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know I should know by now, but like, why are they famous? Where?
Here's the thing.
What do you mean? Why are they don't do anything other than they're reality TV stars, but now they have businesses, but like what got them there?
Their dad.
He was a lawyer.
For what's his face?
For O.J. Simpson.
That was a huge case, was it not?
It was a big case, but like, really?
I guess so. I mean, I think he was like a very successful lawyer and maybe just from there his family got famous.
Okay, but imagine this. Brad Pitt kills someone, okay? Yeah. This is a crazy scenario because Brad Pitt's an angel. Brad Pitt kills someone. We watch the trial. Like, okay, no. Better example. Johnny Depp's, the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, right? That lawyer was great. Johnny Depp's lawyer, we all loved her. She was amazing. She's not so famous that her kids are making tens of millions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you know what?
What?
Remember the Kim Kardashian sex tape?
Yeah.
That, I think apparently that like played a role into them like getting bigger.
I know that's like one of the reasons that Kim is so famous.
But then Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered.
It
was probably just one of those things where like
they just rode the wave.
An agent was like, "You guys would have a great reality TV show." After like,
and I know like
getting to know them from the scandal with the sex tape, and I'm sure that was a big scandal because of who Kim's dad was.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who is the sex tape with?
I don't remember.
R&B singer Ray J.
Yeah, that's true.
I was too young to know.
Yeah, I didn't really either.
I'm looking at an article that's showing like the timeline basically.
I just, like that's one of those things. It's never made sense.
It's just like,
to me.
how are they so famous for essentially nothing?
Kim Kardashian is like one of the most recognizable people on the planet, like I think top 5. She's consistently rated as like one of the most known people on the earth. Mm-hmm. That is bonkers for someone that, I'm not saying she's not talented, not interesting, not a great businesswoman. I'm just confused about how she got to that level of fame.
Yeah.
That's
fair because
it doesn't make sense.
And like part of me wants to be like, oh, it's because they're hot, but also no, they weren't.
They were just regular people.
And they paid for what they look like now.
Sure.
Frick, have you seen Khloe Kardashian's transformation?
No.
It is bonkers. Let me show it to you.
The mic explosion was top tier.
Hold on.
Yeah, I know they're great like marketing people, great business people, because obviously they marketed themselves into multimillionaires. That's badass. I wish I could do that. Maybe I will someday, but like I just don't get it.
That's the same person.
Huh.
Thoughts?
It's not the same person.
Yeah.
Like that's a anyways.
Crazy.
That's my what do you mean? Because
no, that's fair because it's like,
and I had never met someone like outside of Kim Kardashian being married to Kanye, who I was a fan of at the time because he hadn't totally lost his marbles yet. When I met you, I didn't know anybody that like kept up with the Kardashians in any way.
Really?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Everybody keeps up with the Kardashians.
Well,
do you see how many followers they have?
That
People
is
are
true.
Keeping up.
100%. I just like, I didn't know anybody, which I've talked about this before of like what we said, like you're into the influencer sphere and I didn't know anyone in that industry or interested in that industry at all. And so I just I've always been like, I don't understand where this happened.
Yeah.
So
no, it is one of those things where it's like, okay, we could come up with like reasons for it, but at the end of the day, it is pretty bizarre how famous they are for not doing that much.
Because like Selena Gomez is the top followed person on Instagram. Because Selena Gomez was a TV show star.
Yeah,
who became like a pop icon.
Who dated like the most famous
pop singer of our generation.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
Went on to be like a movie star. Went on to be like
and now
a
she's
beauty
like
star. Like. Mm-hmm. She's a multifaceted person, great at all of it, whatever. That makes sense to me, how you get there. But
yeah,
like you're famous because your dad was a lawyer for a famous person? It's not even like your dad was the famous person. Anyways, we don't have to keep on this for very long, but that's a big what do you mean? I'm like,
and if there's like a key piece of information that we're missing, let us know, because it's possible.
Yep. Anyways, what do you got?
Pigeons.
What about them?
Just like the idea of pigeons, because like we mentioned a couple episodes ago.
Wait, specifically pigeons, not birds. Because birds, I'm like, yeah, sure, they're fucking weird.
I know more about pigeons than I know about birds in general, so I'm just going to stick to pigeons. But
okay.
I'm sure some of the traits of pigeons are the same as all birds.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
But looking up stuff about pigeons ever since we came across our pigeon neighbors, it's just like insane how kind of human-like they are, or maybe how animal-like we are. Regardless, we're very similar to pigeons, and it's crazy. And pigeons are like so freaking smart and
That's
so
true.
freaking like, I say like loving. Like I feel like
Are you talking about Audrey and Greg? Like how he comes home every night and
it's
they
bizarre.
switch and take shifts watching the kids, like that kind of thing?
Like Ty literally said yesterday or 2 days ago, he watched Greg fly home around 5:30. That's the time that he usually comes home. Yeah. And he and Audrey literally switched places and Audrey flew off. Like they're taking the morning and night shift watching the kids.
Yeah, true.
How do they know? How do they know
or
what
like,
to do?
Okay, the other day when the builders, so there's like some construction going on the house that Audrey and Greg have their nest on, and they like Greg is gone throughout the day, the whole day, every day. We never see Greg at home during the day, right?
Right.
But the other day, there were these builders like up right by, or like painters up right by like their nest.
Yeah.
And Audrey was obviously like a little concerned, like stressed out about it.
What are they doing so close to me?
And I looked over and Greg was home. He was like there, like checking, like
it was
squared up.
It was like he got a sense that something was going on at home and came back.
Yeah.
It's like, did they call to each other?
Did they call? Did he
Could he see from that far? Like, where was he?
Where was he? Does he like fly by and check on her every, like multiple times throughout the day and we are unaware of it because we're inside?
Yeah,
no idea.
I don't know. It's wild. And this might not sound like a huge what do you mean to you, but if you really think about it,
what do you mean? They have
whack.
Like why do they have one mate? Like most animals don't have one mate for life.
They literally get married basically without the paperwork. But like how do they
without the tax break?
Does that mean that they love each other? Like what sense of loyalty do they feel to each other for each other that they stick together?
What's the depth of emotional capacity
I have so many questions
have?
Because it's like most humans have a hard time mating for life, you know? Mm-hmm. Like humans have a hard time with that commitment level, and pigeons are just like, that's what we do. I'm just so curious to know. I don't know, man. That's wild to me.
Pigeons, birds in general, for me, I'm like, you're telling me that thing is covered in feathers, has like 2 different hearts and like crazy lungs, and flies? Like that's just... You gonna take the next one?
Yes. So this was a question I thought of. I've thought of this many times before. A lot of times I just get so curious about like the origins of things, like how everyday things came to be. Because if you think about it, it's kind of weird.
Like milk?
Well, that makes more sense to me. It makes more sense to me because like humans have like breast milk and babies drink it and cows have... It is kind of weird that we started drinking the cow's milk.
At what point were we like, I'm gonna drink that one too?
Well, I was gonna say...
Weird.
Coffee is weird to me for that reason, because like I get that coffee beans like smell really good, but what made us like, let's grind it up. Hear me out. We'll grind it up.
Yeah.
We'll make some really hot water.
Yeah.
And we'll brew this shit and it's gonna give us energy.
Yeah, true. I have the answer for you. I know why and how.
I bet I'm not going to be satisfied with the answer.
You're going to like it. I'll give you the short version.
I bet you won't.
The short version. I'll give you the short version. Farmers in Africa, I believe it was mostly in Ethiopia, noticed that when the goats that they were herding would eat a specific berry, they would be like bouncing off the walls.
Right. I think you've told me this before.
Just bonkers. Crazy goats.
Okay.
And so they decided to take that berry and turn it into a tea. And that was like the first version of coffee.
Why didn't they just eat the berry?
That's a good question.
That's my whole question.
I think that it probably started there and then they started... Well, I think the outside of a coffee berry is actually really tough, maybe. So it's easier to like mash it up and turn it into a thing. Plus you have... Because like the weirdest thing for me is how we started off with like a literal coffee cherry, and we ended up with like this whole process of grinding off the berry, separating like the film off of the beans, washing and then drying the beans, then roasting the beans, then grinding those beans up further, and then turning it into coffee.
Yeah, what? Wait. Also, do coffee beans always come from like a cherry?
Yeah.
Always? Mm-hmm. I thought they just grew from the ground.
No, they're all on like these little trees.
Someday
when we go back to Hawaii, I'll take you to a coffee farm.
It's just so, yeah. And like, how did that whole process stem from a goat bouncing off the walls?
Yeah. I mean, it took like 1,000 years, and I wish that was a joke, but it's not.
And it's also like, it doesn't taste very good.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, like, we've had this conversation before, but it's like, don't pretend that when you sip on a hot black ass cup of coffee that you're like, that shit's fire. It's not.
It is.
It's
though.
no,
It's
but
so
no.
good.
We've talked about this before. If this was your first day on Earth and somebody handed you this hot cup of dark steaming liquid and you drank it and it tasted like coffee tastes, you'd be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Why are we doing that?
And you'd be like, why am I drinking dirt?
Yeah. I mean, okay, I feel the same way though about like alcohols, kind of all of them. I'm like, where did we get, all right, we're going to just leave this. Because you know what had to have happened was someone made something and then left it for like years on accident, right?
Forgot about it.
And they came back and we're like, oh shit, look at these. Remember when I left these grapes here for too long? And now I'm going to drink it.
Well, is wine literally just leaving the grapes out for too long? They have to ferment it somehow.
And sugar and yeast, probably.
Yeah, how the hell did they come up with
like
that?
what happened? Was it just like a mad science experiment? Or
maybe Jesus literally turned it into wine and then said, let me give you a recipe. And
but he turned it into wine because they were out of wine at the wedding. So it
yeah, how did they come up with that?
Predates Jesus. You know, mead, same thing. It's like honey, and it's just like the whole thing. All of it. I'm like, where did we get there?
Yeah, I'm going to need some
cheese?
Answers on that.
I feel the same way about cheese.
Ew, I saw somebody's stories.
Milk just like curdle and then sit there for a couple years.
And then eat it.
Was like, cool, I'm going to just devour that and hope everything comes out okay the other end.
I follow this girl on Instagram and she's like great. She's very like earthy, like she's
she's really making kombucha for sure.
She is,
which is another what do you mean?
No, she does make kombucha, and she's the one that I told you about that goes to those classes to make houses out of cob, where it's literally like grass and water and like this thing that turns into clay. Anyway,
really, she's like making it like the pioneers did.
She's been making her own cheese and it just looks so gross to me. It looks like cottage cheese, and I like cottage cheese, but I would never try to make it myself. And it just, cheese is weird. So many things are weird.
Cheese is also like a long play. Like you gotta let that shit sit for a while.
Ew.
It's like my dad used to make beer and I was like, it's like a 6-month process.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyways, yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that I'm like, why did we start eating that? I mean, I love coffee, so I'm glad we did. Yeah. But, yo.
Strange.
Okay, the other one, we kind of talked about this last week, but I feel like time as a concept is just weird.
Yeah, we talk about this one a lot, actually. Sometimes I have to be in like a certain headspace to really get wigged out by it. But there'll be sometimes that I'll just be driving and I'm like, time isn't real.
Yeah.
And we are all just agreeing to this idea of time that we came up with because it would be too hard to like change anything now.
Right.
But we're all just agreeing that there's...
But also like they've changed time so many times, you know, like the Roman calendar that we follow, Julian calendar, I think it's called. They had to change to that in like, what, 100 BC, 100 AD or something?
I have no idea. But like, it's also just the fact to me that like we as a unit are like, yeah, that's time. What?
And like, okay, also because we all determined, okay, it takes this long. It's like, it's all reverse engineering. We went, all right, it takes us this long to get around the sun based on days. So like from sunrise, sunset, that whole thing takes us this long to get around the sun, which means if it takes us that long to get around the sun, then it takes us this long to spin all the way around. And then if that then we split that into equal portions, and it's going to be 24 increments of 60 of 60. Huh?
What?
Why?
And also
60
like,
seconds, 60 minutes, 24 hours. Why?
Yeah.
How?
And why are we measuring time based on the Earth going around the sun? Why does it matter?
Great question. Well, I mean, it does matter because of like seasons.
But it doesn't matter.
Not anymore,
time.
For sure. I think the reason
like,
they started the calendar...
why does time have to go with seasons?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Why does any of it matter?
Yeah. I mean, I guess like it makes sense put into place because of like farming. Everything like
freaking everything got put into place because of farming.
It did. It truly did. Because then it was like, oh, well, we know we can say, you know, like we can plant the crops on March 1st.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Like, I'm not saying like time is stupid. Yeah, I'm just saying like,
but the fact that we made it up and then as a collective planet,
we're all just like, Yeah, checks out.
That's what it is.
And it's like, it's not just us. It's like people in Africa are like, yeah, this is the time.
Sure.
People in Honduras are like, yep, time. Like everybody in the world is on board with this concept of time.
Yeah.
And it's not real. Like time, yes, we're giving a name to something abstract. I get that, because technically, like, there is proof of time in the fact that we age and in the fact that things like have a life cycle. But like, so time, yes.
But it's also like
telling time and like,
I mean, we can get into like the whole weirdness of like, I know Interstellar is a movie, but like legitimately the guys,
the fourth dimension
that went on, well, that's a topic for a different
next what do you mean episode
time, but I do think it's time. Anyways, no, but like even the way that like the people that have gone to the space stations have lived less technical days than us here.
Yeah.
I think it's less, maybe it's more. I don't remember.
I think it's more, because when they come back, no, it's less. You're right.
I think it's like 60 when they come back, they're like
less after like in Interstellar, he was still young, but everybody else was old, so he was living less time. While time here was like
right, because he goes through the ripple, but they have to live out the time.
Is that legit?
Oh yeah, like that whole movie is based on very real physics and mathematics.
So it's like
even the black hole, they made that black hole before we had ever captured an image of a black hole, and it lines up, like it looks the same because it was created using mathematical equations fed into like a computer that spit out what it should look like.
That's another thing that's crazy to me is math and computers. How did we come up with math?
That's a great question.
I can't even think about it right now. My head's going to explode. We'll have to talk about that later. But yeah, time is bonkers. And like thinking about space and time and how it's like time, like it's not there, but it clearly is when you, I'm scared.
Well, yeah, because then like you can start thinking about this physical space can exist right here in and out of time, but everything around it changes, but it's still the same physical space.
Right. Yeah.
Weird.
Starts
getting real heady.
Yeah. Yeah, because if we just sat in this same exact spot for the next 20 years, things would change.
Yes.
Even if we didn't move.
Yes. If you sat here for the next 1,000 years, like things would change dramatically, even if you didn't.
We would be.
Which at this point, we probably sound like morons.
Yeah, we probably sound so stupid right now.
We're just sitting here like, holy shit. I promise we didn't even.
We're not on drugs.
Yeah, we're not on drugs. We're just sitting here being, this is so dumb of us. But I'm okay with that because sometimes you need it where you're just like,
sometimes
what?
You just gotta have a minute where you're like questioning everything in your existence. Because if I feel like, honestly, this is a good conversation to kind of like close out, but I feel like as humans, we get so used to just like the way things are that we forget to like question things or like think more about things that to us are so normal. But if you kind of like take a step back, you're like, wait, huh? Like, so it's just interesting to really be like, totally wait a minute.
I mean, even that's kind of like tying it back to what we started this whole podcast episode about, of like us hitting 1 year, and it's not like a big deal. But then when you zoom out and think about it and you're like, what the hell? Like a year ago, you and I just decided like, yeah, we're going to just live in the same space and be together forever.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy.
Like we'll continue to exist through life like we were, but we will live together and be
most
together.
Things together and be together. Super weird.
Yeah, and like, what does it even mean to like be together? Like, we just hang out a lot?
We do just hang out a lot.
That's really the bottom line, is we just hang out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, bottom line, we do just hang out a lot. And we eat food together, and we share money.
Sometimes
and everything else. Nice.
You can take that out.
Got him. I'm not going to.
Oh! Anyway. Well, my head is spinning and I'm
we
hungry.
Didn't even get like in it.
I know.
Like
that's the thing. It's like maybe I kind of want to hear the response on this first to see if this is a type of episode that people are like, okay, please stop talking, or like, wait, I'm thinking these things too.
Yeah.
So let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, we just created a Google form for you to fill out whenever you come up with things. It sounds way more intimidating than it is. It's literally a space for you to tell us whatever you want, whether it's things that you think are what do you means, or like a funny story that happened to you, or something serious and somber that you want to tell us about.
Yeah, we'll probably the way I figured we would use it is like in certain episodes or like on social media, we can be like, hey, fill out the Google form and tell us this, like kind of give them a prompt.
Yeah.
But just have the same general form
so
that you can always access. So
this week, if you have a what do you mean,
let us know.
That makes your head spin, please let us know, because this is really fun for us, but hopefully you guys don't think we're idiots.
I'm sure they do. But
Probably.
thanks for listening. All right. Well,
that's about it.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this episode, like we said, let us know. If you'd like to give us a follow on any of our social channels, that would be great. Instagram is at WDYM Pod. YouTube is at WDYM Pod. TikTok at WDYM Podcast. And I think that's all.
Yep. Yeah, be sure to give us a follow on whatever podcast service you're on. We're posting a lot on YouTube these days.
Yeah, honestly, YouTube is probably the place to find us. Ty's been killing it over there.
Yeah, full podcast video episodes and little shorts throughout the week.
In my defense, he hasn't been sending me the clips, so I haven't been posting them on Instagram or TikTok.
That is fair.
So blame him for that one.
The funny thing is I have access to both of those and could post them and just haven't.
That's not good.
Sorry. We'll get on that. But if you enjoyed this episode, thanks. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Oh, gosh. Bye.